So I don't see the town meeting as a support for either side, but merely a support for the process.
Frank Roberts, Tupac. It is my understanding, many months ago when the ad hoc committee was formed, that the basic reason for that formation was that the present site, the Park Street site, was unacceptable, and we wanted to allow those interested in a dog park to have sufficient time to find an alternative site. The thing that bothers me the most is that on their list of acceptable sites, Park Street is still there. Even though they have ruled out many other sites for various reasons, which I believe they've looked into and done the best they could with them. But the basic reason for the whole effort was to find a different site because the one there was unacceptable. And it is still unacceptable, and in my mind, it's unacceptable for that site to still be on the list of acceptable sites.
I'll let someone respond.
The residents, Mr. Glendon started this originally that he did not like it as an acceptable site. He doesn't like dogs that sometimes bark in his backyard. Recreation has never taken it off because we never felt at any point that it was still an unacceptable site. Every park we have in town has a lot of noise and has a lot of children, has dogs or whatever. We do not feel it's barking all day. We do not feel that when if you live across from Chestnut Street, if you live across from the dog, people that take in the dogs, and the dogs bark all the time, that means that any 50 people can say, I don't like what's across the street from me. We have listened to what's there, we went down, we looked at it. The first time it ever came to recreation, because it was told that it's an unsafe site. We were told that there are dog feces in there that create mosquitoes that will bite people and kill their dogs and everything else. We researched every one of those allegations we had, and none of them were true from the health department, from any of the people that we checked from our own people that we hire in town, have all said that all the allegations are not true. If a petition comes and 50 people do not like living across from something, it doesn't necessarily mean that that park is closed because 50 people don't like it. Recreation never once said we felt it was an unacceptable site. It is not in a development. If you want to say residential area, every area in town is residential with the exception of Main Street. And at the, so every meeting we had, we've gone over those things, and even at the last meeting, that's not putting you on the spot, Mr. Roberts, but we said there were things that we had to do, we should have done, put up the signs and put up things. We did that after the last town meeting, when it was taken down. You even said, I was going to get up, but they moved the question. I was going to say that it's better. I was going to say that it's better. We've gone down there on a number of sites. I don't hear dogs barking all the time, and that's just like if you have a kid that's yapping. You say to your kid, stop it. When you have a dog yapping and you're down there, you say to them, stop. We have looked at things to say that we've done nothing in 6 months. We have looked at things, we've talked about that we would have a user fee down there. You'd have to get a tag, whether you're an in-town resident or out-of-town resident, and we hadn't got that far. We still haven't got that far. That's going to be discussed at the next meeting. We said we would charge fees. They would have a number, so if there's any problem, if anybody doesn't have their sticker or their dog, or the tag on their dog, or a sticker on their car, and somebody's yapping or doing something they're not supposed to do, somebody can come down, take the number, person 1, 2, 3, you report it to recreation just the way you do. Somebody stole or swore down at the park or caused a problem, we can find out who the child is and we call the parents. It would be the same with a dog. And that's how we said we would control it. So all those things have been discussed. It's not like we've sat down and done nothing for 6 months or a year. Those are the things we've talked about. And I pray that this town never gets in a position that anytime 50 people don't like their neighbor, they bring it to the selectmen and that thing gets shot down. And if 5 selectmen don't like the park, they have the right to not like it, and they have the right to their opinion. They have the right to either come or not come to the public hearing. But recreation will do their job, they'll do their diligence, as we have done, and we'll come up with our decision. If it gets overturned, if somebody doesn't like it, That's the due process. But at this point, it's in recreation and the ad hoc committee, and we'll come up with a decision within 30 days. We'll listen to everybody's input, but it has never been taken off the table because we feel there are a lot of reasons why it will not be a very good practice field. It will not be something else. And like we told you before, the two items that have come to us before is a BMX bike park, which they wanted to place and they've asked for it. To say that is not that's a residential area like every area in town. It is not a neighborhood. And there are dogs and there are people that make a lot of noise, and a lot more than the dog park every day. It is safe.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Roberts, this woman sitting next to you, I don't know if she did.
Barbara Roberts,
Yeah.
2
Oh, I'm
Park
sorry.
Street. I'd like to address a couple of things that this gentleman said in the report that he had made. And one of them was that my husband and I were the only ones who had been attending the meetings. And I believe most of the people here had attended, maybe not as much as us, but they had attended those meetings. And at one of the meetings, my husband was asked if he would be willing to be on the committee to represent the neighborhood. And he said, yes, he would. And he made it very clear that what he wanted was for the dog park to be closed on Park Street. When he made that clear, another person spoke up at that meeting and said that she did not think that he should be on this committee as a co-chair or whatever because he was opposed to the dog park. And she's sitting right here tonight. We were both there, and I think some of the other neighbors were there that night as well. And after that, he was voted down. And he was willing to serve with this committee. So I just wanted to make those couple of points.
Mr. Roberts?
I don't want this to deteriorate into personal attacks. I would like to address the fact that I did not say, nor did I suggest, nor imply that the dog park committee had not made a sincere effort to improve the situations at the Park Street site. They have. And since this issue first came up, that committee has done a lot to make the situation probably as good as it can be in the circumstances that exist at that particular site. They have done a lot of work, and I am offended when someone suggests that I have implied that they haven't done anything, because that isn't the case at all. However, the site is still unacceptable.
Anyone that hasn't spoken?
Are you calling me?
Yes.
Kate Peanut, 1 Copper's Lane. I've been working with the ad hoc committee on the rec department. And I just want to add that, we have worked on this and recommended various sites and are waiting to hear back from the rec committee on this. But one thing we haven't done is been able to set up an appropriate dog park wherever that might be, whether it's a recommendation that we make it a Park Street or wherever it might be. Right now, Park Street isn't a suitable location because it's not organized properly. And we've not been given that opportunity. And so right now, it is disturbing to some of the neighbors. We've got people from out of town on the weekends, and there tends to be more people there. But generally, I'm there every night, and I'm there every day. And it's not that bad. It could be improved if it's organized as an official dog park and give us an opportunity to make it work well. And I don't think we've been given that opportunity yet. We haven't gotten to that stage. We're just getting to the stage with the rec committee and trying to find an appropriate spot. Once we do that, then we can institute and raise funds and do the things that are appropriate to make it a well-run dog park, wherever that might be.
Michael?
I actually like to echo the sentiments of my fellow board members. I've also felt that it's not a suitable location as well. But I feel it would be best to allow the ad hoc committee to do what they were set up to do. And as Rita said, come back in 30 days and let us make our final decision on
me ask this question, Rita, Mike, has a date been set for this meeting?
No, sir, it has not, because we put it on hold until after, we thought we were going to disclose it now tonight, so we just waiting to get this, this meeting. But we, it's on our agenda for the 9th of May, which is this coming Wednesday. And,
That's not the hearing, though, that's
no,
your.
that was just the meeting where we were kind of originally picked the date, and it's on the agenda. The agenda will be posted tomorrow on the website, so if people want to see it, they're always posted on the website.
Gentlemen,
Hi, Doug London, 15 Chestnut Street. I never joined the ad hoc committee, but I attended every single dog park meeting since the beginning of this. I think they'll all agree to that. My concern is the very last meeting we had in November with the rec committee. I've been working with Brian Wood quite a bit. He has quite an elaborate plan to move this to Mullen Park that really hasn't been brought up. The problem is money, as always, and he was quoting a figure, I think, between $30,000 and $50,000 to build a new dog park. So I brought up the point of a user fee, because I don't think the town's going to spend that kind of money. And Brian suggested that the town, the rec committee can borrow some funds from the town, and the user fee could pay it back over time. And we threw out a number like $100 a year for each person for each dog, basically. Whether it was a local person or outside person, it's a remote site over there that it wouldn't really be a problem, so they could get a number of people to join and finance this. When I brought this up, it was unanimous with the dog park people that they absolutely did not want to pay any kind of user fee, and they quote said that they pay enough in taxes that the town should supply this park for them.
That's just not true. Period. It's just not true. As usual, it's just noise. It's true. It's not true.
all right, well,
Nobody ever said that.
I'm not gonna let the meeting deteriorate. Pat?
Pat Romeo, 253 Havel Street. I don't have a dog now, but I had dogs all my life. And I had a really happy experience with the last dog. I had a friend who I had a purebred collie, and she happened to have the sister of the dog, which we had bought both of them out of state. And so we thought it would be a really good idea to get the dogs together. And it turned out that there were 4 of us that had purebred dogs, and a couple of them were showed in shows. And we thought it would be really nice to be able to exercise them and so forth. There was an unused field, a sports field, in the neighborhood of one of the gals at this time of the year. And so we took them down to the field and let them run. We brought our bags and we cleaned up, and we brought water for them, and we spent about an hour for about 2 or 3 months that spring. It was the best thing, not just for the dogs, but for us as owners. It was a chance to socialize, and it was a good thing for us as older people. 2 of the ladies were widowed. It was a chance for them to get out of their houses and to see other people. So I think, you know, for a town not to have this kind of an outlet for people, it's too bad, because more and more towns and cities are realizing the value of having this social interaction, and especially through animals. It's a way for people to reach out and to have some interaction with other people. It's a very valuable thing. As far as a fee schedule, if I had a dog now, I'd be willing to pay $200 a year to help finance it. I think it's a great idea. So I'm all for it. I support it.
The first thing that crosses my mind is I wonder how Ms. Romeo has time to weigh in on the dog park issue with all the other things she has. But I'm grateful that you have waited.
I have a feeling she's here for other things too.
Oh, is she? Okay.